What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. We're going to do an ammo test today, but it's not going to be your typical ammo test. Usually we do a lot of defensive ammunition on this channel, 10mm, 9mm, 357 SIG, etc. But today we're going back in history, and we're going to do it with 9mm. The 9mm cartridge was invented by George Luger in 1901. That was over 120 years ago. It's still in service, majorly in service today. But what we have here today is 1944 production. That would be Nazi Germany production, 9mm Luger. So this ammunition here is really old. I know it's historical. I know some people are going to freak out at the idea of me even handling it, let alone shooting it. But I'm only going to shoot one box. I thought this one was pretty cool. This has some sort of a black oxide coating on it or something like that. It looks really nice even today, even from 1944. Now the Nazis surrendered in May of 1945, so this being 1944 production was pretty close to the war's end. These three are just a little bit different. You can tell that they came from different lots here just by the packages. This one has a little bit more of a copper tone, this one a little bit more of a brass tone, and then again black for this one. We're going to only shoot one box. We're going to do some testing though, because we want to see what this stuff's all about. We want to see what it's going to fire like out of a modern gun. We're actually going to see if it takes Glock mags. I just want to see if it shoots, if it functions without hang fires after all this time. It looks like it was saved pretty well. I do want to see how accuracy is, so we're going to be checking this out on this B8 target. It'd be interesting to see if it cycles normally out of this firearm, how smoky it gets, what it smells like, because I'm sure they used way different powders back then. And then also run it through this chronograph to see what kind of velocities they were getting or what they would get out of a barrel like this. And since this ammunition was literally made for war, we're going to put it through gel and just see what the typical German full metal jacket 9mm Luger will do. We have two 20-inch gel blocks for a total of 40 inches of clear ballistics gel blocks. They're well used, but they'll be fine for this test. After that, we're going to dismantle one of these rounds so we can see what kind of components they were working with back in the day, and we want to get a bullet weight. So they kind of did the labeling funny back in the day. Sometimes they would label 3 boxes across, or they would wrap it around the whole box. But basically it says 16 pistole, patronen, and then all that other stuff I can't really read. It does say 1944, and then over here it's got another 1944. They've got the lot number before that. I believe this was lot number 8. And the rest of this stuff is total gibberish to me. There's a look at the head stamp. More gibberish to me other than 44 and maybe another number or two. I don't know what any of that means, but we do have a sealed primer. I do not see seal on the bullet itself, but it could be down in there. There's definitely some sort of a lacquer on here. You can see a little extra of it up here in the rim. So a lacquered, possibly steel case. We'll check that with a magnet as soon as we're inside taking the stuff apart. And I always think it's cool how they package ammunition back in the day, all the old stuff. They put this winding back and forth piece of cardboard on another piece of cardboard to separate the rounds. It's pretty cool. We don't ever see packaging like that anymore. I mean, somebody designed this and people sat down and made it by hand, and it's just pretty cool. You don't see this kind of stuff anymore today. So here we go. Let's burn up a little history, but let's do it to learn some stuff. So some of you guys can see the oil in there. This is our very well lubricated Glock pistol. We're ready now with 5 rounds. We're going to put that on steel just to get an initial feel for it. And here we go. This has been a long time this ammo's been waiting to get activated. There was definitely a hang fire in there, but we did hit the target. I'm going to go try to grab something that I saw come off that steel. I'm pretty sure I saw the bullet come back and land on the ground, but I can't find it. So we did put a new one into the chamber that I just screwed up, but I'll make it better right now. We didn't find that piece of brass. Camera guy's going to keep his eyes open for where it goes, but we did hit the center of the target. Definitely a hang fire there. I see the brass. Let me go grab it. So we grabbed the case. It is a Berdan prime case. There are 2 flash holes in there, so this is definitely the other kind of stuff. This is not the American kind of stuff. You couldn't reload this easily, even if it was brass, which I don't think it is. And there is some cratering on that primer. It doesn't look that great, but who knows what it's actually made of. Let's continue shooting. All right, so far we've hit the red twice. Let's try to do it again. Oh. So that did not go off, or there's not one in there. Yep. There's one in there, but it did not go off. Let me take a look at that one. So definitely struck, but did not go off. That stuff is too old. All right, we got a new one in there. Maybe you guys can get a sense of the recoil. Oh, that one didn't go off either. I wanted you guys to see the one-handed recoil to see if it means anything on camera, but let's get that one out of there. And that one didn't go off either. So I don't know exactly what's going on. Maybe this firing pin isn't hitting it sharp enough. It's actually denting the primers down. They do have the primer strike on them, but they're not going off. All right, I've loaded up 5 more. I hope we can get at least one of them to go off because I want to get a chronograph reading. I'd like to hit the target, but more than that, I just want a chronograph reading. So hopefully we get some decent strikes. Nope, not gonna happen that time. Went off. I didn't have the barrel where it should have been because it went off as a hang fire, but we do have 1296, so about 1300 feet per second. I'm betting that's a pretty light bullet in there. And that one did not go off where we wanted. Let me try to see if I can get that little paster. I got close to it at 1186 that time. I got close to it again at 1319. So it's actually not too smoky, but it does smell a little bit funny. It smells like old ammunition. It just, that's the only way you can, they should make a car freshener for people that know. Old ammunition, kind of like new car, but old ammunition. Anyway, we have the chronograph set now at meters per second because we did have a couple of viewers say they wish we did this in the metric system. So since this is from across the ocean anyway, we'll go ahead with the metric system for these shots. We have 4 loaded up. Hopefully at least one of them goes off. We're going to strike that gel at about 15 feet away, and hopefully we get a good shot on it if it does go off. This stuff definitely does hang fire. But I'm going to go right for, I don't know, I'm going to kind of go for left bottom or maybe top right of that block. Or maybe I should just go dead center, dummy. That one did not go off. That one did with a definite hang fire and a little bit of smoke coming back out of that block. We did get a good center hit. We have 331 meters per second, whatever the heck that means. Again, 331 meters per second. So alright, we did strike it right in the middle of the block, and on slow motion I saw that it was a decent enough temporary wound cavity, and that results in a pretty decent permanent wound cavity. I'm glad we had the 20-inch block, and I'm glad we put the backup block right there. You can see it made it right to 21 inches, and it is facing backwards, if I can get it to focus properly. We'll get it dug out and look at it. It's not going to be very impressive, but it's facing backwards because it cavitated along the way. Somewhere in there it did some flipping and flopping, and that is why you see that permanent wound cavity right there. Not too bad, actually. So 20 inches of penetration, cavitation, and projectile landed backwards. 21 inches. So, I mean, these blocks they're gel blocks. That's all we can say. We have no idea what they would do in actual tissue, but we've seen plenty of other bullets go through gel blocks, and this is what this one looks like. Let's go ahead and dig that thing out. That'll come out really easy because it's right at the edge. And there you go. We have an exposed base, and we have the rifling marks from the gun. Other than that, a full metal jacket, pretty much. Let's open one of these up and look at the powder that they used. So we'll use our trusty bullet puller, get this thing taken apart, and get some measurements. All right, very interesting. We have 5.7 grains of powder, but as you can tell, when we try to focus in on there, it is not very good condition. This stuff looks very yellowed. It definitely has degraded one way or another. I have my Hornady light on it, so hopefully you can see that those primer holes right there from the bird end primer, they do not appear to have flashed, so I think the powder just straight up degraded. So that sample we took was from the one with the struck primer. We didn't want to take apart a good bullet, but, well, not necessarily a good one, but let's go ahead and take apart this unstruck one and see what it looks like. And we have 5.9 grains of powder in that one, and it is also yellowed, just like this other pan over here. Very weird. So whether they're struck or not, they will be yellowed and compromised. So one of these projectiles weighs in at 99.5. That's interesting. The other one weighs in at 98.6. So more of a 380 ACP type of projectile weight, in my opinion. You see those around 100 grains all the time. We're used to seeing 115, 124, 147, 148, things like that for 9mm nowadays. So interesting, cool, but definitely different. And for anybody interested, this is what the base of those projectiles look like unfired. And we do have a true .355 inch projectile. And just out of curiosity, let's see if it'll actually burn. Oh yeah. Just a regular 357 SIG lawman case on the left, and then the World War II ammunition on the right. We have a house magnet, just a refrigerator magnet. It does not pick up the 357 SIG, but it sure will capture that 9mm. Well, there you go. A box of history investigated through the Glock. Now, this Glock is going to get an extensive bath because that is guaranteed to be super corrosive ammo. I don't want to let this in here another 5 minutes, so we're going to take this inside, clean it with hot soapy water, probably twice. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know certain historians are just flipping out right now, but that's all right. We have a couple more boxes to save. It's obviously not the even functional ammo anymore, but it's cool to just have around to look at. So thank you for watching this video. Maybe share it with someone else who might like it. And until we see you next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep shooting.